Hello, Julie here. This is the first clip that I've put into my playlist called Simply Smart Kids. Now, this is a topic area that I feel very passionately about, and I've seen a lot of evidence of families that have done a fantastic job with bringing up their children so that they're ready for school, and others that really haven't. Now, it's not always the child's fault. I understand that sometimes children are born with difficulties, that they are inherited or they are just genetic, they just cannot help it. But other times the environment they grow up in is very influential in creating their receptiveness to learning and their ability to take on language and to learn new concepts. So this first clip is just to encourage you to talk to your children. Talk. We're all busy people. I know, we're all busy people. Mums are very busy people. We have a lot on our plates. We've got things going on all over the place. We're working, we're trying to, do our housework, cook our dinners, look after a bunch of kids. It's really hard to fit in that time to talk, but it is just so important. That is the number one tip that I have for you, is to talk to your children as much as possible and give them a chance to talk to you. There are many ways that you can do this. Firstly, I would say to get off your iPhone, get off your tablet, get off your iPad, get off your computer and your social media, and replace that with talking to your children. Well, I'm not saying get off it altogether, but minimize it. It makes me sad when I go for a walk around beautiful Moffat Beach headland and you see a mum who is pushing a child in a pram, or a dad, sorry, not just a mum, pushing a child in a pram, and they've got their earphones in and they're talking on their phones to somebody else. And the child sometimes is sitting in the pram with an iPad in front of them and they are looking at that. Now, I mean, it's got its advantages, it's got its place. I realise that. But instead, the mum or the dad, the parent, would benefit the child so much just by talking to them about what they're passing, interacting with the environment, chatting about the ocean, chatting about the trees. Look at that dog that we just saw. Wasn't he beautiful? What do you think we should have for dinner tonight? All those things that builds those synapse connections for that in that child's brain. It allows that conversation time builds not only a beautiful relationship between parents and child, but also builds so many intellectual benefits for the child. So often it makes me really sad, but as a teacher, I just see so many kids that just can't listen anymore. I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional, but they just can't listen. They have so much difficulty listening to the human voice and taking information on board, and it just makes school so much harder for those kids. A lot of kids need to have all the razzle-dazzle and all the technology and the bright lights and the video clips and everything like that to engage them. But even those they don't learn optimally from, because they haven't been used to listening. So whenever you can, talk to your kids, involve them in what you're doing. It is really, really simple. Sorry, it's just something I feel really strongly about. Just involve them in what you're doing. While you're cooking dinner, instead of having them off in their rooms, on their PlayStations, on their computers, etc., have them sitting there at the kitchen bench, helping, maybe cutting up some vegetables for you and chatting to them about what you're doing, asking them, like, it doesn't always have to be the Spanish Inquisition, like, how was your day, or, because kids quite often don't know what to say to that question. But if they're there with you and they're involved in what you're doing, they're much more likely to open up and tell you things that come up along the way. Sorry. Same with dinner times, meal times. It may not be possible every night, but it is just the most valuable thing to have some family dinners where the whole family are gathered around the table. And yeah, the first or second time you do it, it might be a little bit quiet because you might be used to having the television on in the background and having some source of stimulation all the time instead of just having people chatting. But to develop that relationship time where kids get a chance to talk to you, ask you questions, chat about their days, it's just invaluable. You might have a little blessing or something before you start the meal. You may not be religious, but even just a moment of gratitude where everybody says thanks for something, or one person says thanks for something. That's a lovely start to the meal, and then everybody start together and just sit there together until everybody's finished. It's a common, not a common anymore, but it's an old-fashioned courtesy that we don't seem to give ourselves or give our families anymore. Families are breaking up all over the place. We know the statistics. We know that it's rare for people to stay together. Now, I know there's all sorts of reasons for that. I'm not being naive enough to think that this is going to cure all of the relationship problems in the world, but heavens, it's a very good start just to have that communication. When you're down the supermarket, when you've got your little kids in the trolley, instead of trying to shut them up, don't try and shut them up. Talk to them. Talk to them about what you're doing. Look, we need to, I think we might get a tin of baked beans for this week because I know we're going to have a very busy day on Sunday, and this would be a nice easy dinner. Which one do you think we should have? Like, I know it does take that little bit of time. And you can even talk to your little babies, when they're coming around with you. People might think you're a little bit mad, but the kids develop language really early, and it just benefits so much. So I'm just really passionately saying to you, talk to your kids. Limit that technology. Don't put them away in front of a video just to shut them up. Try to have them interacting with you, involved in what you're doing, and talking to you as much as you can manage it. And I think you'll find that if you do that, your children will be streets ahead when they actually come to school. They'll be reading better, they'll be listening better, they've got the vocabulary in their heads from listening to your voice and the words that you're using. And so, yeah, talk. Sorry I got upset, but you can tell that it's something that I feel very strongly about. Okay, see you next time.